From the Stereo Sound Record Studios, your home for the best in unsigned and indie punk, rock, and metal. This is The Mosh Pit with your host, Wes Everett.
Echo Stone, waiting.
Welcome to the Mosh Pit. It's your host, Wes Everett, and I'm here with Miss Taryn from Lilith Rising. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So before we jump into it, you guys, how did lockdown affect you guys? Did it help you with any more music writing? Did it help? Did it hurt? How was that?
I would say it's probably a mixed bag. I actually joined the band under lockdown,
Okay.
which was really good for me and my mental health because I was stuck inside for the most part, and I am introverted anyway, so it's fine. But music overall is what gets me there. So I was asked to join this band who wasn't Lilith Rising at the time, but I was asked to join a band, and I went out and I met with these guys, and we were all like super safe about like, this is our pod, that type of thing. But we actually did get together during 2020. So we got together in the summer of 2020. And it's not until 2021 or like the end of 2020 when we became Lilith Rising. Overall, we did a lot of writing. Um, but we also were kind of working on the songs that we had from the previous band too. So we were
Okay.
kind of going in and out. But we did release a song in 2021 called Goddess Rising, um, underneath our new name and everything. So that it did help a bit, and it didn't at the same time because there's also like scheduling conflicts and all other stuff. So
Yeah, I feel that. Like I said, I like to ask, because we all know that it was a horrible time of year. I mean, it's crazy to
mhm.
think it's been almost 3 years. We're
Yeah,
still we're still kind of processing it.
yeah, absolutely. But I think overall it put a lot of things in perspective.
Mhm.
And for me personally, it was about being, and this sounds bad, but just being a little bit more selfish on the things that I want. Um, or just like not letting others dictate what I'm doing, you know?
Oh yeah.
So it puts a lot of perspective on the fact that one, I start, I've always cared about people, but I cared about people even more in that time period. But it was the same flip side of that was me thinking about myself too, like
Mhm.
personally, what's affecting my mental health and what's draining me. So it's one of those things. It's like letting go of all the bullshit,
Yep.
that doesn't matter. So it does put a lot of things in perspective. And I've had like a couple of those like aha moments,
Hmm.
So that's it. It's a, I'd say, it's a curse, but it's also a blessing. There's two sides of that coin.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I think a lot of people took that and really, applied it to themselves of, okay, no more putting off things. Let's actually do what I say I'm going to do. I'll be honest, it really pushed me. I mean, because I was starting to kind of get lax with the podcast, and I was like, you know what? It's like
Yeah.
this could be the end. I got to start pushing some stuff.
Yeah. I know a lot of people that were like, the only thing I can do is podcasts. Like that's
Hmm.
I can only talk to my musician friends through, podcasts. There are some shows that were still able to happen. They were all outside.
Hmm.
But they, it the you couldn't really be inside. You couldn't
Yeah.
do the like crowd experience that you really, really wanted to do. We actually
Oh
have a
yeah.
tip jar that says tips are like hugs, but without all the germs. We still have it. Like it's,
Nice. Nice. I love it. I love it.
yeah.
Let's talk about your influences that you bring into Lilith Rising. Who are some that you pull from?
I'd say I pull from a lot of things. Like I just take everything that I love and just mash it together. um, but overall, I have favorite bands that I'm like, I like this and I like this from them, and so on and so forth. So one of my first loves, my first true love was Nightwish. And then Within Temptation came right after that. Because once you're into one like Euro
Yeah.
metal band, you're
Yep.
into a lot of them, you know?
Yep.
And I was like 15 years old. My boyfriend at the time introduced me to, I think it's the first song I heard was like Nemo or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, it actually wasn't that one, but I can never remember the name of the song. I sing it all the time, but I never remember the name of it. But I was introduced to Nightwish when I was like 15, and I was like, I love it. I want to be just like Nightwish at that point, because my brain wasn't fully developed. And then I discovered Within Temptation. Of course, everybody likes Evanescence because that was, the US side of it. So I did like Evanescence. I clinged on to that. Um, but as I grew older, I was looking at other bands like Dream Theater, and then I fell in love with Paramore. I have this one band that I really like right now. It's called Ava Under Fire. Not as big of a band, but a really great band. Edge of Paradise is a really awesome band. Um, I tend to cling to all like female fronted bands, but I'd also say that I at one point I was really into Cradle of Filth. So
Yes.
sometimes I'm looking back at their stuff going, how can I put some of that energy into my music? Um, I trying to learn a little bit more because I have some growls in the background of the new song. So it's trying to use some of that ability that I learned when I was like 18 and pull it to now like 35-year-old me, you know?
That's
But I
awesome.
was forced to learn how to growl when I was 18, 19 years old by a record company. So I am now using that experience today and like relearning how to control that without messing up my vocals. So I
Yeah.
have a ton of influences. I go anywhere. We cover a Journey song. We cover separate ways. So I'm like, I love Journey,
Yes.
and just all over the board.
That's
Honestly.
that's awesome. That is awesome. Now,
Temperamental, get out.
Wake up in a cold, dark sweat in the night. You know something doesn't feel quite right. How much longer do I have to fight? Keep these voices out my head, yeah, I keep on trying. So rather keep on coming back, keep on pushing them out, but they won't cut me any slack. The sinking feeling took me right off track. For my stability and reason, it just keeps on dying. Insecurities are all I hear. Watch my sanity disappear. I can't see through all my fears. Just get me out of here. Everything is so unclear. Things are not as they appear. Dark spots are on premiere. Just get me out of here. My name is Avo, here to stay. There to play. Just get out of my head. My guilty conscience makes me fight to stay alive. Just get out of my head. There must be something wrong with me. Why can't they set me free? Why can't they let me be? It really is a mystery. Why does everything I read, or even just fucking see, take me away from reality? Here's another fucking apology. Can you see through my disguise when you look into my eyes? Or do you hear all my cries? Do you know it's all a lie? Why deny me my demise? Before you finally realize, you know I strongly advise you don't dare to criticize. My name is Avo, here to stay. There to play. Just get out of my head. My guilty conscience makes me fight to stay alive. Just get out of my head. And I know there is no way to hide from our mistakes, but I wish there was a way that we could hide from My name is Ava, here to stay. There to play. Just get out of my head. My guilty conscience makes me fight to stay alive. Just get out of my head. Just get out of my head.
you say the record label forced you to growl. I kind of
Mhm.
want to know about that.
Yeah. So no one really knows of my band back in the day. And that there's a good reason why. It's because we technically never existed. So we were in a band in New York City. I met all these guys in Jersey, and we all went to New York City, and we got this small label that signed us. And it was one of those things where it's got a large like parent company
Mhm.
over that like independent label, and they were signing artists that were like unknown and like small. And then you, with most labels, they sign a bunch all at the same time. They put their
Mhm.
eggs in all those baskets, and then whoever does the best is the one that, you know,
Yeah.
gets the most money. But we were 18, 19 years old. We were idiots. We signed a contract that basically says you have all of our songs. We took the money, but you have all of our songs, you know. I'm just like, yeah, cool. Like, this is my dream, you know. So the record label didn't do well. We did all these songs. We did an entire album. We were actually starting to tour. We were picking up momentum, at least regionally. And then they didn't do what the parent company wanted them to do. So they shut it down. And with all of that went our songs.
No option to buy back or anything?
What?
I said no option to buy back?
No. I did find out legally I can take the melodies, but none of the like recordings or anything like that. I actually heard one of my songs was sold off because I actually heard it chord for chord is being played today. Oh, wow. And I kind of want to reach out to that band and be like, how you liking my song? You know?
You're welcome, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. Because, you know, we draw influence from everybody. It's like, it's your song now. It's fine. But on the growling portion of it, they wanted me to be marketed basically as another Evanescence. Because you're thinking about this is 2005, 2006, going into 2007. Evanescence was the one that was picking up speed. That was the band, you know? And they wanted us to kind of be like Evanescence, but they wanted the growls. So I was taught to be both, well, I already knew how to be a clean singer, but also be, you know, a screamer. I do very well at the false chord, which is just the growl. The fry is a little bit hard. The one where you add tone. So I end up doing more of like a mixture between the two, but the growl is the easiest thing to do because it's less noise. It's just noise. It's less like control that you have to have. But I'm kind of, you know, as I started with Lilith Rising, well, before we were Winter Solstice, I started picking up all my growls again, being like, hey, I can put this into the set. And I can now like sound really cool compared to all these other guys that are also screaming, you know. I can clean scream and just like throw in a growl every once in a while. So I'll get right in somebody's face and like do that one growl. It's like, hey, just so you know, I'm here.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So moving on to live shows, what you guys are working on. What do you have coming up?
Well, I think this will be out after the show, but the 14th is our next show. We're actually going to be with Edge of Destiny. We were asked to come on to their one show that they're doing here in Charlotte. So we're going to be at the Milestone, and we'll be with Hemlock Grove. And there's another, it's Wes. Sorry. I should have had it written down.
No, you're good. You're good.
With Edge of Destiny, they're a band out of Texas, and they're doing a Christmas tour. So so they actually have a release that they did for Christmas. So I was like, really cool to have another woman fronted band to hang out with, which I did last night as well.
Nice.
We did Women of Rock at the Rooster, and it may sound like I'm biased, but I am a little bit. You know? Hey,
look, I enjoy it.
That's us women have to stick together and like in this scene, you know. But yeah, that's the next show that we have coming up. And then we're going to go on a little bit of, you know, holiday break. Except me and Thomas, we're actually going to get together, my guitarist, and go over some new songs. Because my hope is to get another song out in like February, hopefully around my birthday. My birthday's February 12th. So I'm hoping to get it out by then, because it's halfway done. It just needs to get the other half done.
Nice.
But it's another song that I've been sitting on for like 2 years, and he's just now sonically and like got the vision that I wanted from the song. Because originally I was listening to like Liv Sin's version of a Danzig cover, and that's where it came from originally. But then it just kind of evolved into this, like, I want it to be dark and then like and slow at the beginning and then build to a big like I'm gonna kill you type of finish. You know,
I like it. I can't wait to hear it. So you say in February?
Hopefully February and March. It's one of the birthdays, so it's either gonna be my birthday or around Alan's birthday, wherever the Friday falls during that time.
Gotcha.
It's best to release music on Fridays, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. You remember back when everything used to release on Tuesdays?
Oh yeah.
Now it's Friday.
It released on Tuesdays, I think, because of like Billboard. So they wanted to have the Billboard set for the next week.
Yep.
So you could only release on Tuesdays to Thursdays, and now everything's released on like Fridays. So I'm here for it.
Hey, as long as we get new music, I don't care when it's released.
Yeah. I was thinking about dropping it early, but I was so scared that like DistroKid wasn't going to communicate properly to the rest of the stores.
Oh, that's a pain. That is a pain.
And I was up all night thinking about it and be like, is it going to release properly? Like last time it didn't release like exactly on time. So this time around I was like up until like 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, sitting there waiting. I was like, I know it's not going to be up until 9. I said it, like it's. And then I woke up at like 9:20. I'm like, oh crap, I gotta go to social media. Let people know it's mine.
That's killer. Yeah, last week's show actually dropped 2 days early.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea why. I got to posting it on Thursday and I looked at it at like 7 o'clock and I was like, oh, show's already live.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you paying attention, you got an early show.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Those begin with the end.
If I were a man with your name and all of the fortune and fame, I'd retrieve that which was lost
what is your when you go in the studio, do you have a style? Do you have a regiment, I would say, of how you put your songs together? Song like vocals or track?
Um, I would say up until this point, I don't have much of a structure.
Hmm.
I think Thomas is going to push structure on me a little bit more. Um, so for instance, Dear Lilith has been sitting there for 2 years.
Hmm.
My hope was it would already be done by now, but I think the universe is okay with it being exactly the way it is because now that we have a new guitarist, he has
Hmm.
really pushed it in the direction. That guitar part
Hmm.
was rewritten like 50 times, and then he came in and it was done. um, but I come up with a lot of like lyrics in my sleep. So Dear Lilith was actually pushed to me in my sleep at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and I already had a melody in my head. So I'm
Hmm.
assuming, I don't know what, but it just was pushed into my head. So I'm sitting there, I'm writing down the lyrics as fast as I can because the hook is the first thing that comes in. So I'm like writing them down and I sing the melody into my phone and then I go back to sleep. So I put that to the band at the time, and we were trying to put it together. And the guitarist at the time actually already had a song that was similar. It was in the same key.
Hmm.
So he actually took my part that I sung into the microphone. I sung the melody out, and he split it apart to put it in place,
No.
which helped. And then at that point, we were just trying to polish it, and then he left the band to go be with his cover band because his cover band's making money. So I'm like, cool, whatever. And we had to find a new guitarist. um, but when it comes to like the studio thing of it, once Thomas was in the band, he had made sure everything was nice and polished. And then I don't really have a studio. I have a place in my house where I
Hmm.
just go and record. It's the back porch, and there's a microphone back there, and it's usually 12 o'clock in the morning or something because I'm a mom. So that's when like I have time to do recording when it's quiet in the house. So I sit down, I kind of like focus for a little bit. I would call it like somewhat of meditation. I drink some tea, usually like honey, green tea, something like that. Um, and then I record and I record and record and record until I'm done. um, I think I sent Thomas about 20 takes, just dry, no editing, just that's what you're getting. And I actually texted him like, "Are you okay with me just sending you everything? Because I don't know if this is shit or or not." And then I just kept texting him after that. I was like, "Did you listen to it? Is it good? Like, should I do it again?" And he's like, "No, you're good. Like, it sounds great. We just need to like move some stuff around and that kind of thing." And he's really good at like the engineering portion of it too. At the last minute, I was re-recording the chorus because I wanted to hit a note better. So yeah, a lot of it is just kind of because we can work virtually. He sends me stuff and then I can send stuff back. Um, but I think the next time I actually do want to record with him in person,
Hmm.
for the most part, so I can get his feedback live because I very much like instant feedback
Oh yeah.
rather than waiting.
Oh yeah.
My normal process back in the day when I was in professional studios was being in a studio for 3 days
Hmm.
with a producer constantly yelling at me and telling me what to do. So this is a very lax environment that we have here.
And being in the studio with somebody else, it also even when they don't say anything, you can see
Mhm.
it. You can get that feel from, okay, this is going in the right direction. This is something's a little off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that 100%.
Or you get ideas. You have somebody to bounce ideas off
Yeah.
of instead of just me sitting there by myself. So like I can all of a sudden have like a light bulb go off in my head, like, wait, we should do something else here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing it this way because you practice a song before you go in the studio and you like, I've been doing it this way for so long. and then I change it because the ending of Dear Lilith was not that ending. It went back to the ooze that I did in the beginning and in the middle. It just went
Yeah.
back. But now we ended it on the high notes rather than
Okay.
going back to the ooze. So I think that really changes the dynamic overall of the song.
Yeah.
I
That's
also
cool.
didn't when I was with the previous guitarist, we were also talking about how to end the song overall. And it was just going to go back on the ooze, but we actually decided to end it back on the bridge, just a higher version of that. And it didn't dawn on me until the last minute that I also ended Goddess Rising on a bridge. Because I went back to the bridge and redid it, but it ended on the high note again. So I like high notes. I'm good. That's my favorite thing to do.
There you go. There you go.
Lilith Rising, Dear Lilith.
Dear Lilith, were you too much for him? Your power glistened and you outshone love. Eyes turned black as you were replaced. Too important to follow her. Can't control a fiery spirit, no matter how much you tap it down. It'll be like for my dearest, setting you out ablaze, dear Lilith. Dear Lilith, were you the dark or light? Your spell takes over and they cast you into the night. The earth turns from within your soul. Too strong to follow her. Can't control a fiery spirit, no matter how much you tap it down. It'll be like for my dearest, setting you out ablaze, dear Lilith.
It'll rely for all my dear. Can't control a fiery spirit, no matter how much you tap it down. It'll rely for all my dear, setting you out of place. Though your clear's the same, your spirit is to blame. Now you're a goddess rising.
Do you have any advice for any bands trying to make a name for themselves?
I mean, I'm still trying to do that. I can go off of, what I know overall. Patience is definitely a virtue. If you don't have a lot of material and you're going out and doing shows, and you fill it in with like your like covers and things like that, I feel like that's perfectly okay. So let's say we actually have 6 original songs that we can play live, and then we pad it out with like 3 covers. But those 3 covers are, I feel I make them my own. I feel like we make them our own. So, but it's kind of an introduction to me, to us, like my voice, their voice, that kind of thing. So have patience, but also you can't make a name for yourself if nobody knows who you are. So if you have those 3 original songs, 4 original songs, something like that, go out, talk to people, go to shows, network yourself. Even if you can't play shows, go to your local scene and make sure that they know who you are. I've been a little bit dormant for 2022, which I feel bad for, but before, I was going to shows. Like as soon as they let us out in 2021, I was starting to go to shows. Like I was like everybody's show. I was doing my own shows and that kind of stuff. And I was just like, I want you guys, I want to talk to you guys, and I want to play with you guys, that kind of thing. Another thing, unfortunately, is social media. When I was starting to promote that Dear Lilith was coming up, this is a little bit an advantage. I took some of the following that I had from my business account on TikTok, and I said, hey, if you guys want to follow me over here, you already like me here, so you're going to probably like me over here. Go follow my band, And they did. There's like a good 1,000 of them came over, or maybe like 800 came over and started following the account. And then from there, I'm like, make sure you follow us on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Spotify. I'm not going to release any sample until we get to 100 subscribers, and 100 subscribers is not, big in the grand scheme of things, but now we're at 150, people are seeing it. So, social media can be your friend. It's daunting, but it can be your friend. TikTok, especially, tends to be a really good community that kind of like wraps around their musicians and their artists. So even if you don't like TikTok, I recommend it. And Instagram is good, but again, it's not as community driven as it was before. TikTok is. And then Facebook would be like my last place that I typically post things. And that would be my local scene that's right there. So you have your bigger, like nationwide. Some people follow us from Germany, which is really cool. And then you got Instagram, which is still like nationwide or, worldwide. And then you got Facebook. I think that's more my regional, North Carolina, South Carolina people who see my posts the most there. But sometimes the algorithm is not algorithming. So you just got to keep at it, and not give up, because there's a lot of times where I want to give up, like no one's seen my post, but there is actually like 50 people seeing and liking the post. So that if there's 50 people in the crowd that love you, that's awesome, So, I think that maybe my biggest thing is just don't give up. Um, if music is a passion for you and more than a hobby, I'm saying it's not a hobby, it's a passion. Like you
Mhm.
can't live without it type of thing. Just keep going because there's always going to be a place for you somewhere in this industry. Um, so there'll be somebody that loves you. There'll be people that hate you, but there'll be people that love you and and completely validate everything that you've been doing.
Minor strut, state of mind.
Tell me if I'm overthinking or overthinking. Tell me because I love the reasons why I had to feel so holy. Maybe if you hold me out, maybe we could find a way to disconnect this to be how I left it in my mind, the perfect conversation. Tell me, will you hold me out? It's just the way that I feel running through my mind. Gotta cry a little bit, numb to liberate. It's just the way that I feel running through a fire. Gotta cry a little bit, numb to liberate the state of mind. Maybe we could find a way to trace your places to be how all of the reasons why I had to feel so holy. Maybe if you hold me out, tell me if I'm overthinking or overthinking. Help me because I love the reasons why I had to feel so holy. Maybe if you hold me out, it's just the way that I feel running through my mind. Gotta cry a little bit, numb to liberate. It's just the way that I feel running through a fire. Gotta cry a little bit, numb to liberate the state of mind. What's left but to choose? I try, but I lose. I still got my mind. I try, what's the use? Is it true all you can make me feel? In my mind I decide that is oh so clear. Why I fight, why I try when we're always here? Why I fight, why I try? How did I end up like this? Where do we go now? Where do we go now? It's just the way that I feel running through my mind. Gotta cry a little bit, numb to liberate. It's just the way that I feel running through a fire. Gotta cry a little bit, numb to liberate. Numb to liberate.
That was long-winded, but yeah.
It was a lot of good advice, though. It was a lot of good advice.
Yeah.
Taryn, thank you so much for sitting in on this podcast.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
No, absolutely. Usually we try to do like a 6-month follow-up, see what's going on, see what's new.
Yeah,
So I'll reach out to you.
there should
Eh,
be a lot going on.
That'll be awesome. That'll be
Yeah.
awesome. Before you go, plug your socials, tell everybody where they can find you guys.
Okay. Yeah. So we are Lilith Rising Official with the underscores underneath it on Instagram. Also Lilith Rising Official. I don't think there's anything underneath them on TikTok. We are on YouTube as well. Everything says official at the end of it, so you'll know that it's us if it says official. Um, and we're up on Facebook as well. We just released a song called Dear Lilith. It is up on all the streaming platforms, and we did a music video. If you haven't checked that out, we are basically covered in fire towards the end of it. And that is up on YouTube. My husband did that. He does basically all of our like merch and stuff like that. So if you want a guy to do your music videos or your graphics, I'll plug him too. He's sanctioned Resistance Productions. I tag him in almost everything too. But keep an eye out for us. We are going to hopefully be doing a little tour on the East Coast in the summer of 2023. And just make sure that you keep following along. And I promise we're going to do so much more music for the following year. So
Awesome. Awesome. Now, is that tour bringing you through Atlanta?
I don't know yet.
Don't know yet. Okay.
I just had the conversation last night. So
Well, if you need any help, if you need any contacts, hit us up. We'll plug who we can. So
yeah. Yeah. Well, if you want us to play any shows in Atlanta, just let us know. We'll go there.
definitely will. Definitely will. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and thank you again.
Thank you. You too. Have a good day.
Bye. You too. Bye.
The lead, question what authority?